out here. Uh-oh, Richard. Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane jump.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Oh, look. Look. The poor millionaires. The poor rich famous millionaires are having problems. Somebody go give them a hug. Poor millionaires. This is Ego and Vice, episode 87.
You've got a real attitude problem, McFly. You're a slacker.
Born and raised in South TV. Lower class punk ass, I was Northwood grade. I had it made. Spent my nights drinking with my mates. Just a short bus ride up to PA. Red River Red. Then I hit the wall and I knew I had to bounce. They still say that 19 years ago, and I got the hell out. From time to time you may see me hanging around. Now I feel like a stranger in this town. Crossing the roads is where I learned to play. Westwood Tavern's where I learned to walk away. Hello. This is Mike. This is episode 87. This is Ego and Vice. How you been? I'm good, thank you. How's Chris Rock's face? Fine, I'm sure. He put his millions of dollars against it and went, oh, sweet relief. What a joke. Anyway, I missed last week because of work. Yeah, my career, my new career. Well, same career, new position has been keeping me busy. I have to jump through a lot of training hoops and stuff like that. Even though I've been in the industry for like 13 years, I still have to learn the procedures and go through all the training and do the online courses, and it's okay. I get it. I understand, but I kind of just want to get at it. You know what I'm saying? But I understand. So yeah, that's been keeping me super busy, and it's been keeping me occupied. And cool. It's almost over. And I'll be able to just get back to normal. But anyway. Don't really have a lot to talk about. Plus I have a really good guest on the show today, which I've been looking forward to for a while. His name is Rob Snasdell-Taylor. You might know him affectionately as Chops. He has been in the Ottawa music scene for as long as I've been here, and we'll have a little conversation about that when I do talk to him. But he was like one of the first bands or musicians, I guess, that I kind of molded myself or tried to strive to be like when I was first starting out here in Ottawa. And we've come full circle, and now he's on the podcast, and it's pretty cool. But yeah, he's a good dude. He's in a band called Slow Tom and the Handsome Devils. I'm sure you remember that. And another band called Constellations. I'm sure he'll explain all of that when I give him a call. Anyway, like I said, don't got a lot to talk about, so let's get right to it. I'm going to play a song, and on the other side, I'm going to come back with Chops, Rob Snasdell-Taylor. This is Ego and Vice, episode 87.
This is a question where it's over in the mind. Pizza. Can I take your order?
Yeah, could I get a couple with pineapple and perhaps one with an anchovy?
Yes, sir.
Do you get the pineapple and an anchovy?
On the same pizza? Now that might be the crime.
Oh,
that's bad.
what's going on, Rob?
No, not too much, man. Good to see you, Mike.
Yeah,
good to see you.
It's great to catch up. How was band? You were at band practice tonight?
Yeah. I had a really interesting band practice tonight, actually. Well, it got there, and the old Slow Tom is like, "Listen, dude, John's not coming."
Oh.
Lead guitar player, he's like, "We got a show next week, and he's just too busy to get COVID." He's just like, "Can't do it, not doing it." So that's all right. Call our when we play as a 3-piece, we call ourselves the Thirsty Three, and so we had a set list that was organized, and now that's all out the window, and all these old songs we haven't played in a while, and man, we fucking nailed it.
Nice.
And had Rob Bennett, the lead singer from the Bush Pilots, were playing his birthday party, so he was going to come. He came to our rehearsal just to run over a Stones cover song we were going to do with him. But it turns out he's a bit of a lead guitar player himself, so holy shit, we ran into 4 songs that all of a sudden are back on track. It was amazing. It was one of those band practices where somebody just stepped in and the chemistry just wow.
Like true professionals. You didn't miss a beat.
Well,
pardon the pun,
yeah.
I guess, all right?
Pardon the pun. Well, the bass player probably dropped a few notes here and there, as he always does. But as a band, yeah, we did all right. It was good.
What I'm sorry. It's what do you call yourself when you're a 4-piece band? Slow Tom and the
Slow Tom and the Handsome Devils.
Ah, the Handsome Devils. I don't know how that
Devils,
slipped by my mind.
Yeah.
Slow Tom and the Handsome Devils, or the Thirsty Three.
Yeah, Thirsty Three. We've done a few things as the Thirsty Three. We try to, as the Thirsty Three, we do more of the funny songs. Like Tom's got a lot of funny songs that get off the fucking Queen's Way and
Liquor's My
that
Lover?
sort of thing. Yeah. Well, Liquor's My Lover's more of a solo song these days. He'll do that at the end of a set by himself.
Right.
But yeah, so Thirsty Three is more comedy. There's more shtick involved.
All right.
Whereas the Handsome Devils right now, at the end of May, we're going in to record. We've honestly have about 20 songs. We're going to try to get 10 to 12 of them down, and they're not funny. They're really good.
They're dramas.
They're Slow Tom has morphed. He's brought his songwriting level up another notch. So what I describe it as, he'll bring me a new song and he'll be like, well, what do you think? And I'm like, well, actually, that's kind of like high school Slow Tom. I like the community college second year
the frat boy. I like the frat boy Slow Tom.
Well, because he's advanced to that level. He's got these songs that are Roy Orbison, they're right there. And then when you bring in a guitar player like John Higney, who is the PhD, he's a professor of music, to play lead guitar on a country-ish thing is like a fucking joke for him. So he makes it sound amazing.
Yeah. There's those guys that are good. I never knew how I got along with them. Sometimes I just don't like them on out of principle, but they do help your band, right?
Yeah, well, there's different roles in bands, right? I was thinking about this earlier today. My other sort of main project, Tin Constellations, is more of like a folk pop kind of thing, and we're essentially a 3-piece, bass, guitar, and a violin as a lead. But the guitar player writer, he bounces all his songs off his friend in Hamilton. And his friend in Hamilton is a multi-instrumentalist, mainly a drummer. But oddly enough, he's one of those guys who's he's the guy in the band who's like, hold that chord for 8 bars instead of 4. And I'm going to do this weird thing and you're like, whoa, yeah, he's the guy who like adds all the frills.
So he knows what he's doing, basically.
He knows what he's doing. He adds all the frills, and he adds all these like sort of like lead kind of like synth kind of things,
Right.
that need to be translated back to the violin. So Brent, the guitar player, he hears these synth leads on a song over an MP3 or a WAV file over the computer, and then he uses his mouth to speak to Andrew's ears with these sounds, and then Andrew, the violin player, recreates Brent's vocal sound on his violin, which is essentially the melody that Al in Hamilton made with his synthesizer. It's fucking nuts.
That's that's not layered. That's not complicated at all. That's kind of like my theory. I do kind of the same thing. I plug my cord into my amp, and then I plug it into my guitar.
Yeah,
and then and now this is technical. I grip it and rip it.
Oh man, yeah. Rock and rolls is where you learn to play, like listening to the theme song.
Yeah.
Like
music is much like my golf swing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but like listening to a bit of Goat and listening to the Riptides.
Yeah.
I mean, there's that's like the kind of band that I also want to be in. I want to like, my dream is to like play bass in one of those like kind of oi oi bands that like oi oi oi.
Yeah. A lot of fun. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, like I
it's
said, and I had to touch on this story on Mike, just because, like I said, we're gonna pretend we haven't had this conversation before. 10 minutes ago.
Hi, my name's Rob.
Yeah, but when I first moved to Ottawa, and I was just starting to experiment out into the scene, because I moved to Ottawa to continue like in a band, because my drummer was here. That's why I actually moved here.
Okay.
Because Ottawa was like the big city. We'll start, because I had a band in Thunder Bay, and we'll start it in Ottawa. We'll be huge. And when I started going out to the clubs, I think one of the first bands I saw was King Kong, your old band. It was a punk rock band, or it was a rock band.
Yeah, it was like I mean, like we lived a punk rock attitude. I think Fu Manchu was like our Fu Manchu and Love Battery were our idols for sure.
But you guys were awesome. And you were like energetic.
Oh,
thank you. And it was loud, and it was fun. And I honestly said to myself, or I came back to my house and said to my bandmates, I said, if we want to do anything in Ottawa, we got to be just like King Kong. I swear to God, man. I said it. I'm paraphrasing my own words, but I swear to God, it was something along those lines.
Man, well, I'll tell you this. In 1998, all of King Kong lived at 106 Arthur Street. And it probably cost less than $800 a month to rent a house between 4 guys and 2 girlfriends. So it was like the fucking minimalist amount of money to live there. We jammed whenever we wanted. There was always a party, and then it just morphed from there. Like more bands started to practice there. So eventually it was like every night of the week, like Andrew Vincent, 1978, when John Bartlett, Kelp Records, when he first came to town, that's where he fucking played. We just had this punk rock house where there was no food in the fridge. We stole a garbage can off Somerset Avenue, one of the those green wooden ones with the slats. That was our kitchen garbage. Gary Hache lived there. Like fuck. It was epic. It was good. It was good.
It was the center of the universe to me, because coming from Thunder Bay and being like at a club in Ottawa was like, this was the big city to me. Like it really was. Like, and I loved all the clubs back then too, because there was like Lucky Ron's and Perfect Strangers, and there was so many of those awesome little spots. Do you? I know you're going to remember this, but I bring it up to other local musicians or guys that have gone through, but a lot of people don't remember. Do you remember Zaphod's 2?
Yeah, for sure.
I know.
I
asked that question to other people, and they're like, "What?
It was like, honestly, it's funny because couldn't actually tell you right now where on Bank Street it was. It was before Gilmore. It was before like coming up from Gladstone. It was before the Herb and Spice.
Yeah, it was. It's like a Rogers store now, and upstairs. It's
Yeah,
something,
yeah. So it was further south, just slightly further south than Barrymore's, but on the same block.
It was on the
I guess
second floor too.
second floor
Yep.
for sure. So, I mean, King Kong played there. The Pop Shovets played there. And then one time, like I used to back in the day, back around that time, I worked at Songbird Music, and I remember just cool shit would happen when you worked at Songbird Music, as I'm sure it does if you work at Spaceman. But somebody came in. Paul, the sound guy. He was the guitar player in Polaris. Paul,
I don't know.
red-haired guy, the sweetest guy ever. I can't think of his name right now. He came. He was the house sound guy at Barrymore's, and he comes and he's like, "Hey, we're no, sorry, not Barrymore's, but anyway." Paul comes by.
Yep.
He's looking for people to help carry Dandy Warhol's gear up the stairs to Bayfods 2. So I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, whatever. Like 1 o'clock, I'll get paid by Songbird and I'll get paid by Dandy Warhol's. So carried all the gear up, got a free T-shirt, got tickets to the show, poked my head in the very small band room, the green room sort of thing, and kind of met them afterwards, and was really thinking that Taylor guy was going to be a super like conceited jerk, but he wasn't. He was the nicest guy.
Nice.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I remember Zayfods 2 very well. I actually played there too. Do you remember the not the electric frying pan, the Johnny Vegas Funhouse?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then then John Hummel had John's like
the Johnny Ballistic or something.
Johnny Ballistic's bullpen.
Yeah, okay.
Where he used to let local bands, like untapped local bands, play like a showcase on like Wednesday nights at Zayfods or something like that. And John Hummel actually took my band I Refuse at the time under his wing, and he actually got us a gig at Zayfods too. And it was probably the only time I'd ever been there, only time I ever played there, and that was that. And then it closed. Son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch. Yeah.
I don't know how we got from King Kong to Zayfods 2, but we're just riffing here.
We're just riffing. Just riffing.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, as far as Slow Tom and the Handsome Devils, I guess you've been friends with Tom forever.
Yeah. Well, could I tell this one a lot, but I'll tell it again on the Ego and Vice if it's cool.
Yeah.
Well, it really started in 1991. Some friends of mine, we were going to go and see this band at Porter Hall called Furnace Face. So we got into our friend's Dodge Colt, and we drove around the market for hours trying to buy acid. You're in grade 9.
As one does.
As one does. Couldn't find any acid. Bummer. So then we drove down to Porter Hall, and that was my introduction to like a local show. And it fucking hit me over the head with a 2x4. It was just like, you can just do this? You don't have to go to Hollywood to be in a band? Like, I never understood. I never got it until that day. And then the very next day, James Bryant and Sean Hill were like, hey, man, you want to start a band? And because they were at the show too. And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, of course I do. And honestly, so I skipped ahead because when we were driving around in that Dodge Colt, the cassette tape in the deck was Nevermind, and it had just come out and or just got to Ottawa, and we listened to it over and over again.
Never
and
heard
then when
of it.
we got to well, it's this rare, awkward
Is it local?
album. No
Is
one's
that
ever heard of.
local?
I'm not sure. And then when we went to the show, in between every band, that was the record they played over the fucking PA over and over again, and it kind of just like fucking pounded everything home. So the next day, the next Monday morning in art class, James and Sean were like, hey, you want to be in a band? I was like, fuck yeah, I do. I totally do. So we we got our feet wet. We had 3 chords. We'd play fucking Louie Louie on James's driveway. We were always looking for a drummer for quite a while. And by the time we had a drummer, it was like 1992, and it was the next Pogo a Go-Go Rockaroo at Carleton. And Sean and I went, and it was this big blizzard, and the Scatterbrains were the headliners.
All right.
And everything. So that was this like Omar's ska band from Ottawa, and all the buses were late, so the show's over. Sean Hill and I are trying to like take the bus home from Carleton back to Canada, but the buses aren't running anymore because it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. Mm-hmm. So we're like, well, fuck, I guess we'll just walk home. So we're walking, and this U-Haul truck pulls up beside us, and it's the guy from Furnace Face. And he's like, where are you going? We're like, Canada. He's like, well, I can't take you there, but I can take you to this party on top of Songbird Music, and you can call your parents. So fuck yeah. So we got in this fucking U-Haul truck with Tom Stewart, who was just working sound. He wasn't playing the show. He was just helping out with Johnny Vegas working sound. And we go back to this party on top of Songbird Music and in Johnny Vegas's apartment. And I meet Karen LaRocca, Ian Lefevre, Jeffrey Kaiser, just all these who's who of the Ottawa music scene. And it's not lost to me. So I'm like, oh, my name's Rob. I have a band. What's your phone number? You know, I got everybody's phone number. And then the next day I started calling them. And you could tell right away, some people, like I was this like 18, 17-year-old kid. So some people were, like, fuck off, like laughed me.
Fucking dickheads,
like, yeah. But Tom gave me the time of day and gave me some advice. So did Jeffrey Kaiser and Jeffrey Kynes, sorry, and Karen LaRocca, Sound of One Hand Studios. All these people. And that's how our high school band, Mushroom Explosion, got our foot in the door, and just snowballed from there.
And you owe it all to that skinny punk rocker who pulled over on the side of the road, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. And then now, fucking 30 years later, more than 30 years later, no, less, like 28 years later, I play in his band.
Craziness, right?
And yeah, it's amazing. And he's the nicest guy.
Just quick story. Did you ever hear, like, did John ever tell you how he met me? I doubt that's a topic of conversation at your band practice.
Well, no, but I heard it on the podcast.
Yeah, the very first show I ever played in Thunder Bay, we opened for Furnace Face.
Furnace Face.
Tom was on the podcast like fucking 3-4 years ago or whatever it was, and I was telling him
pre-COVID,
and I was telling him that story, and he's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" He's like, "It's true. I have pictures of it and everything. It's fucking pretty funny."
And anyway. He's just the most genuine and accessible guy, right?
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah,
great guy, fun guy.
Absolutely.
Spins a good yarn.
Yeah, spins a good yarn. Absolutely, man. I've learned quite a bit. So, through like my band progression and shit like that, like Mushroom Explosion, the Weakling, the Waxies. It was probably about the Waxies that I got a job at Songbird Music doing guitar repairs, and Tom was the amp repair guy, and I'm this definitely 19, 20-year-old kid who's so moldable, right? Like there's still this piece of clay. And I ran into this guy who like didn't smoke cigarettes. He drank and all that, but like he wasn't, like it could have been a lot worse for me. You know what I mean? Like when you're very influential or what's the word for being influenced? Like
impressionable.
impressionable. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, I was a highly impressionable young man, and I fell in with a guy who taught me everything. He taught me how to write a press release, taught me how to call radio stations, showed me his list of promoters and radio stations, and how to do photocopies and make your shit look cool. And then that was like, he came up with the name King Kong.
Well,
We're spitballing names.
As far as a business partner, sounds like a good guy to have, but I'm sure he's like a brother as well now. Gotta be.
Oh yeah, he drives me fucking nuts,
There
man.
you go.
Yeah,
There
for
it is.
sure.
There it
Yeah.
is.
Oh,
There
yeah,
it is.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, love that guy, but fuck,
Love
just
that
punch him
asshole,
in the
right?
nose one day. Yeah, love that asshole. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
cool, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, maybe it's all like maybe we're all Slow Tom Stewart. He's like the center of the universe, and we're all kind of weirdly connected. He's like the Kevin Bacon. We're all 6 degrees of Tom
Hey,
Stewart.
I think I would wager that if you play music in Ottawa, that is probably true, because he's definitely done sound for your band, or he's done sound for your friend's band.
Mm-hmm.
He's fixed your friend's amplifier if he hasn't fixed your amplifier, and now he owns the store. Like, how many actual used music stores are there in Ottawa now?
I've sold many
There's
used
Spaceman. That's about it.
I've sold many used pieces of equipment, probably to Songbird to buy beer.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I had this awesome experience. I've been building through my guitar repair sort of stuff. I started building some things, and I sold an instrument that I built through Spaceman on consignment.
Congratulations! I've seen some
Thank
of the
you.
stuff you build. They look very nice, very lovely.
Well, thank you. And then on the Spaceman computer, I had a credit as an account. So then for like the past 4 weeks, I'm like, I walk in and I'm like, yeah, I'll take this. Yeah, just put it on my account.
Put it on my
Yeah,
on my
account.
tab.
yeah. Well, we'll take it off my account. Like, it's pretty amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Meow That's Hot and Tuesday nights.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. That's
fucking
like
awesome.
That's fully functional
Well,
again now. That's back open and
Yeah, it's fully function again. It's a singer-songwriters night, so it operates like an open mic. And I think it's a small venue, so like capacity is probably like 24, 25 people. Before COVID, they'd probably push it, but so since in the past while, like the most people I've seen there is 24 people. Usually it's about 15, and there's about a solid 6 or 8 people that come out every week. Sometimes it rotates, and it's just like this appreciation for people like you, who have an idea and want to do something, and they write a song. And sometimes there's been quite a number of times where I'm sitting there and I'm listening, and everybody who's listening is very appreciative, because half of them are going to play their song and want you to be appreciative and listening to them. It's like, fuck, if half of these guys could play guitar, man, this would be fucking awesome. Because everybody's trying so hard not to fuck up that they like flub their chords or forget their lyrics and stuff like that. But it plays into the it's a scene. It's honestly a scene. There's regulars. There's every time there's always like one new person. It's been awesome.
do you host that now?
Well, I've been hosting it about half the time. Technically it's Slow Tom's, but he's busy and shit like that, and I've had a really good time hosting it.
And that's Meow That's Hot on Bank Street. Do you know the address on Bank Street?
I would wager about 800 or 500, but it's right at the Queensway.
Yeah, I can edit that.
Right
in
at the
anyway.
Queensway. Yeah.
And Larry Russell, who owns the place with his wife, has been on the podcast before.
Oh, has he? Awesome. I missed that one.
Yeah, and he is also, him and his wife. What's his wife's name? I apologize for forgetting.
Steph. Yeah.
I knew her name. It's been a while. It's been a while.
Hey, man, names. I get you. Yeah.
COVID squeezed a whole bunch of fucking good information.
Sorry, I
out
thought
my
you
brain.
said it's been a lot of coke. It's been a lot of coke.
Oh no, that's a different podcast. We'll turn the record off for that story. Anyway.
Yeah.
No, but they're also the owners of the Meow That's hot sauce line.
Oh, absolutely. That is essentially that's why they have a bar.
Absolutely.
That's why they have a bar and a restaurant. Is to have that kitchen.
Fantastic.
Because they used to cook that stuff at House of Targ.
Right. Fantastic local business.
Yes.
Whether you buy the product or whether you enjoy the brick and mortar, Meow That's Hot. Ottawa's own.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Anyway.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Cool.
Lots of different shit.
And
Tin Constellations play just about every time.
I will definitely gonna pencil that one in. I write acoustic stuff for myself, but I don't really play it anywhere. Sometimes I'll book like an acoustic gig. Here and there, but maybe I just need maybe I need like a warm up stage. So that's cool.
Yeah, that's the idea behind Meow That's Hot Tuesday nights is like test your material out. I mean, I've done it with my Telecaster through a fucking Metal Zone with a drum machine and a Korg. Yeah, acoustic or not, you could play your goat songs.
Metal Zone, just ripping.
Fuck.
No,
I don't know how long I ignored Metal Zone pedals. Like, I think I got mine for like $49 or $39.
I thought they stopped making them. They don't make them
Well,
anymore.
you'd think,
Boss Metal Zone? I don't think they make them
Metal
anymore.
Zone is the fucking shit, man. It is like I have ignored that pedal my entire career until about a year ago, and I got one. I was just as a joke, I got one, but then it's like it's so manipulable. There's so many options.
If you want your distortion to be zippy, zip, 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 zip. Like need a little bit more zipping in that.
So like, you want a big muff?
Yeah.
Big muff sounds awesome, except for until you turn it on and you can't hear it because of the cymbals.
Right.
Like a big muff, like King Kong was a big muff.
Was a big muff,
And big muff and a
super
tube
fuzz.
screamer.
Oh, yeah.
Sean had a tube screamer and I had a big muff, and we had them in our band called the Waxies that we recorded all anything good I ever recorded. I recorded with Dave Draves at Little Bullhorn, and I remember playing a Waxies song for somebody, and he was like, like there's the clean guitar and then like the big part where the guitars are gonna fucking hit in. And he's like, hey, what happened to your guitar? And I was like, oh, I turned on my big muff. Your guitar just disappears.
And Dave Draves, former drummer of Furnace Face.
Oh, sorry, no, I've been down this road too. Dave Dudley, former drummer of Furnace Face. Dave Draves is guitar player of Fishtails, and owner-operator of Little Bullhorn Studios on Spruce Street.
I recorded there. It used to it used to be right up Preston, didn't it?
Yes, yeah. Still there. Same place. And he's got a 2-inch fucking tape machine. Yeah. Man,
we recorded. I was in a band called Our Mistake. We recorded half a record there, and then we ended up going somewhere else and recording it. Not because we didn't think it was fantastic, but we were all having internal existential crises. Dave Dudley, former drummer of Furnace Face, also owns Dave's the Drum Shop.
Yes,
on
Dave's
Catherine
Drum Shop.
Street.
On Catherine now.
Another local business that people should shop at and buy their stuff at. Dave's the Drum Shop on Catherine.
Yeah, there's really is. It's probably the biggest drums only store in Ontario, I would say. Yeah.
So what's next? Other than playing for your friend's birthday party, is that what it is? Coming up?
Yeah. Well,
What else you guys got on the go?
Well, right now on the go, the Handsome Devils. We're gonna be recording the end of May. At the beginning of June, we're playing an outdoor festival in Chesterville, and then Tin Constellations. If I could talk about Tin Constellations more, I play bass. Brent Smith is the guitar player, the main writer. Andrew Robertson is the violin player, and out in Hamilton, Al, I can't pronounce Al's last name, so I won't even try. He's sort of like the guy you bounce everything off, and he comes back with some great ideas, and we've got some full band recordings that that aren't recorded in the same city coming out that sound super fucking professional. They sound great. We're gonna have a Bandcamp release and a show at Meow That's Hot on May 14th with this all female kind of folk band called Rubber Roses. And Brent and I, we've been friends since like the King Kong days. He had this band called Dandy back in the day. If you have that Never Been to Ottawa compilation,
Yeah.
yeah, Dandy is on that, and they're this pop band. So all the other bands on Never Been to Ottawa are these like fucking rock bands, Dead City Rebels, King Kong, all that stuff. And then there's this fucking sugar-coated pop band, and that's Brent. And I've known that guy, so I've known him like 25 years, but it wasn't until like a year ago we started bouncing just songs back and forth because I released a solo record in 2020 called Bucky Barrow.
Mm-hmm.
And I bounced the song just like, hey man, listen to this, and what do you think? And then he'd send me a track, hey, listen to this, what do you think? And then he'd send me a track and be like, hey man, can you play bass on this? And I'm like, oh, I'll try, and played a little bit of electric ukulele through the delay pedal and all that shit.
Cool.
And so that's how Tin Constellations just started to grow, and Meow That's Hot really brought it about to be able to play every Tuesday.
Yeah, that's cool, man. And you're having a
we got a bunch of shows coming up.
No, but you said you're having a release. You said you're having a Bandcamp release. Is the Bandcamp available now, or is it being launched at the same event?
Yeah, I'd like it to be available now because like we're trying to get in on some other festivals and stuff, so it really helped to have a Bandcamp page. Hey Brent, get on that Bandcamp page. We've got a couple shows coming up. April 30th in the market at that French baker's place. It's like Dalhousie and whatever one that the Rainbow is on.
Murray?
Yeah, it's like the French baguette or something like that.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, well, both Brent and I from Tin Constellations contributed tracks to our good friend Ryan, who's got a band called Lives Like Skyscrapers. So we're going to open for them. That's April 30th. And May 14th, we are playing at Meow That's Hot. It's a Saturday night. It's going to be one of the first Saturday nights that Meow That's Hot is going to do like a cover at the door music thing.
That's cool. That's super cool. Yeah. That's exciting, actually. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, it's really exciting. I'm loving it. It's an avenue for me to concentrate on what I'm into right now is like arpeggio kind of bass. Like I want to play like can't think of his name right now, the bass player from Rancid. Like I just love that.
Brett Freeman?
Matt
Freeman?
Matt Freeman. Yeah. I just love arpeggio bass. So I just love spelling out a chord in 4 beats.
Cool.
Yeah, so I get to do a whole lot of that and do some vocals and shit like that. So,
one last question I have about the your I don't know if I guess it's a hobby now. You actually make guitars or ukuleles. Is that what they are?
Yeah. Well, in about 2000, when I was still at Songbird, I did the Sergei DeJong kind of like thing where you go and live with this master builder for 6 weeks, and I built 2 acoustic guitars from scratch, just from slabs of wood and all that. And then that was my goal. I was going to come back to Ottawa and just build guitars, but I had this job at Barrymore's and the Pop Shove-Its, the band I was in, they were really doing well, and I was like, staying up until 7 a.m, smoking joints with homeless people in the alleyway at Barrymore's, and
sure.
fuck yeah. And then I got married, and then the band broke up, and then you have to get a day job, and
I remember the Pop Shove-Its.
Yeah, that was probably until like I would say Tin Constellations, the best thing I've ever been in. But it was about 3 or 4 years ago I broke my foot, and I was stuck on the couch, and I was just watching YouTube videos bored as shit. And I watched a couple of people build acoustic guitars from scratch because I'd done that before. So I watched some people, and then I had an idea like, well, I'm going to build a mandolin, because I was also, when you're stuck on a couch with a broken foot, you can't really play guitar or bass because it's too big. You play a little mandolin. But the mandolin is so fucking small, it hurts your fingers because it's so small.
Right.
So then I was like, I quickly realized I wasn't going to be able to build one of those cool mandolins with like the scroll work and all those Gibson F4 or whatever they're called.
Sure.
Then I watched a guy build a ukulele, and I was like, that's where it is for me. There's no truss rod, there's no big tension. So yeah, I started building some ukuleles, and then it turns out the scale length that I was using for my ukulele is the same scale length you would use for not a mandolin, but a mandola. So like a mandolin is to a violin, where a mandola is to a viola.
Okay, I don't know what any of that means, but that sounds.
Oh.
I'll take your word for it.
It's a slightly bigger mandolin that looks like. The idea, you can find one right now at Spaceman Music on consignment.
Do you have a brand name? Do you call it something?
Small strings. My friend George Stryker helped me he made me a beautiful logo and a decal. So we have these like gold decals that I put on the headstocks.
Small strings.
Small strings. I don't really have a page or anything. You can look me up at Chop-O-Matic on Instagram, Chop-O-Matic.
Okay, and you do sell them privately, yeah?
Yeah. I've probably made on a quick after band practice mindset, I've probably made about 15 altogether, and I've sold less than half of that, so I've got a bunch, and I've given a few away, and there's still a few at Spaceman, and it's hard to sell, right? Because like it takes me like 2 months to make something, and then somebody's like $500, and you're like, yeah, it's like fucking pennies on the hour. But
hard to give away, hard to part with, I guess, eh?
It as well, because I'd have to say the mandola and both of the ukuleles at Spaceman right now, I really don't care if they don't sell, because those are the ones I'd like to keep. They're actually kind of nice.
I think that's a super cool hobby, and I've seen the work, and it's gorgeous.
Oh, thanks, man.
You do a great job.
Thanks.
So not only are you putting music into the world, you're actually putting instruments into the world. So you have stuff floating around the ether, and you also have stuff in the hands of musicians somewhere. So you've done it all.
Hey,
you've come full circle.
Thanks, man. Richard Dick Altavista, the old radio host on CKCU, he owns 2 of my instruments, and he is the most gentlest soul. And he's made me feel. He said something very similar to what you said about like you're creating art that lets artists create more art.
That's it.
It's fuck. Hey, man.
Build
ukuleles, not bombs.
There you go. And you know what? That's the best thing to leave off on. I gotta let you go.
It was really good to talk to you again, Mike.
Absolutely, man.
Fucking loved it.
If you ever want to come back on, you absolutely can. Do you have any final things you want to talk about? Like, just you want to say? Do you have any links, or should we just put them in the post?
I'd really appreciate if anybody listened to this would do a guy a solid and follow the Tin Constellations on Instagram or YouTube.
We will. I'll put the links in the actual the podcast post, so they can follow it that way as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But other than that, man,
cheers.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks, man. It's been so much fun, and we'll do it again. We'll do it again sometime.
Yeah, it was a super pleasure. Yeah, man, I loved it. Absolutely.
Okay, cool, man. Well, take care, and I will talk to you soon.
Yeah, have a good night, Mike. Take care, man.
Yeah, I could not pretend, set it up in the middle.
right, that's it for me. If you need to get a hold of me, you can always contact me at egoandvice@gmail.com. The podcast is available on Podomatic, Spotify, Deezer, Google Podcasts, iTunes, wherever you stream your shit. Just search Ego and Vice, and you'll find me. I'm the only one there. And like I said last week, I'm trademarked. I own that shit, yo. Anyway, already got my guests lined up for next week. I'm not going to miss a week this time. I'm getting my job stuff kind of in order, so all right. I'd like to thank Chops, Rob Snasdell-Taylor, for being on the show today, and we'll see you next week. Again, Ego and Vice. See you later.
You've got a real attitude problem, McFly. You're a slacker.
Born and